Hi everybody and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist and internationally published author, helping take your life, your business, your health, fitness, body and mindset from where you are right now to being unstoppable. And today here in Melbourne, Australia, around Australia, it's Mother's Day. And every year on Mother's Day, I like to reflect on what my mother's brought into my life and how grateful I am for those particular gifts. Now, my mum passed away a number of years ago now, and my dad's no longer with us either. But even though that's the case, I still take time out on this day because it's a special day for all mums. And our mums are so special in our lives. And even though my mum's not with me anymore, I do always take some time out each year to just be more grateful. And today I wanted to talk to you about the 9 gifts that I think Mum has given me, along with plenty of others, but these are just 9 that I've thought of today that really have formed a key part of my backbone as to who I am. And the first one is passionate. Mum was always a passionate woman. She followed her dreams in what it is what she wanted to do. I mean, she was brought up in an era when you got married, it was your husband's role to provide for you, and Mum and Dad actually weren't allowed to get married if Dad wasn't able to provide for Mum, and Mum had to leave her job. That was just part of what they did back then. How far we've travelled in all that time since they got married back in the 1960s, which doesn't really seem that long ago, but how things have changed. But throughout life, Mum then became a civil celebrant, and that was something she'd always wanted to do. It took her a long time to be able to be approved to be a celebrant. She followed her love for creating videos, and she was into wedding gowns and creating a wedding gown museum and doing a whole bunch of different things. She wrote her book. She wrote a couple of books, in fact, around different topics. But she really taught me, I observed it through her from a very young age, that she was a very passionate lady. And she followed what it was that she truly wanted to. Even though Dad didn't necessarily get what the heck she was doing or why she was doing it, he went along and he supported her in whatever it was that she wanted to do. As bizarre as they may have seemed, as challenging as they may have seemed, he stood by her while she did it and supported her. Number 2, passion. Sorry, that was number 1. Number 2 is love. Love. Mum was a very loving woman. I mean, Mum and Dad were together for 40, I think they celebrated their 46th wedding anniversary, and that was the day that Mum passed away. Actually, it was either 46th or 47th wedding anniversary. And Mum was a very loving person. She was, back to point 1, passionate. She was passionate, and with passion comes a lot of emotion, and Mum was a very emotional person. She wasn't always able to control it, but that also came through in her love, I suppose. She was just very vocal about how she expressed herself and didn't always do it in a way that I thought was a great way to do it, but that was her way. And for me, I think being around Mum and Dad, seeing that their relationship was so long, so supportive, it certainly had its ups and downs like any relationship, but they stuck together. They found a way to make it work for them. And I think that was really powerful. And I think it's because of Mum, because of their relationship and what she put into it, that is where my deep love comes from as well. And love can come in many different ways. I mean, love through your intimate relationship. I'm an incredibly passionate person about the person that I'm with. The love for my kids, the love for other people, the love for what it is that I do, which is kind of linked to passion as well. I wouldn't be the person that I am without the love, and that it comes from Mum, Dad as well, but I think Mum was the one where I saw that most. Number 3 is loyalty. Mum was a very loyal person, and I think because of the way that Mum lived her life, that really shows up in me as well. I'm incredibly loyal to all ranges of things, whether it be a brand, whether it be a person, whether it be a group, whether it be other people. I'm very, very loyal. And that's in spite of things that are perhaps said against other people. I know what is true for me and where it fits with me. And I'm just a very, very loyal person. I think it's a really important quality to have. And when things get tough, I think it shines through, whether you're loyal or not, or you're just going to jump on that next thing, that next person, that next whatever it is, because it's popular. I don't do that. I'm loyal right to the core. Number 4 is about work ethic. Mum was a very, very hard worker in everything that she did. I can remember her working many, many late hours, late nights, going without sleep, and just working herself to the bone so that she could get that next project done. It could have been preparing for a bunch of weddings that she was doing, or even funerals or naming ceremonies as a celebrant. It could be grinding herself to the ground, doing a bridal pageant. It could be writing the book, you name it. She just had this unrelenting work ethic. And I think that shows up in me. I think it shows up in my brother as well. But for me, work ethic is everything. I mean, you can be as gifted, the most gifted person on the planet in your field, but unless you apply yourself and unless you do have that undying work ethic to put in the effort to achieve what it is that you want to achieve, then you're not going to reach your full potential. And for what I've learned about myself over the years is that I probably have to work 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times harder than the person next to me to achieve the same result. I used to really resent that, but now I accept it and realize that, okay, well, if I want that result, it means that I've got to work damn hard. And it probably means I've got to work damn harder than anyone else, but that's just my lot in life. And I deal with it. And if I didn't have this work ethic, I wouldn't get the success that I do. And so I'm grateful for that, for seeing that through Mum. Dad as well, but Mum, I think, had a stronger work ethic. And I've certainly picked up on that from a very young age. Number 5 is about challenge. Mum was always about going to that next level, finding what's that next thing that you're going to do. It could have been redecorating the house, putting a new room on the house, doing something in the garden. It could be writing the book. It could be becoming a civil celebrant. It could be planning that trip overseas. Whatever it was, Mum was the driving force in our household for determining what the challenge was next. And I observed that from a young age, and I really admired that about Mum. She was always pushing the boundaries, always looking for that next thing to be doing, so that life was just interesting. Life without challenge is boring. If we do not set goals, and we don't set goals that are not too easy for ourselves, then what are we living for? We've got to have that challenge in our life. And that has to come in our relationships too. If you're just with somebody that's a yes person, or surrounded with people that are yes people, or coaches that are just yes people, you are not going to grow. The only way you grow is when there's resistance. And that's true of any relationship, whether it be intimate relationship, business relationship, friendships, working out, building muscle. There has to be a resistance. Otherwise, there is no need to grow. You just stay the same. We are built as humans with a brain to use and to be pushed and challenged. And that's what I love about the work that I do. I love challenging people. I love being challenged. It's really cool. And Mum, she really showed me from an early age, once again, that challenge is just really important. And certainly challenging relationships is probably especially our intimate relationships, is probably the biggest challenge that we will face. Really, really tough. And finding a way through that is gold. It really is. Number 6, friendships. Friendships, relationships, but I guess more friendships. I think that it's realistic to accept that the friendships that you have now, right now, you may not have for the rest of your life. And what I saw through Mum and Dad was that they had a number of friendships that came and go. They had friendships that came into their life and they were quite powerful. But then at some point they would move on. And as a child, I didn't understand it. But as I got older, I certainly did, because I realised that Well, some people are just in your life for a season, for whatever reason. Maybe it's to help them, maybe it's to help you. But for whatever reason, you go separate ways. And sometimes you just grow apart. You find that there's different things. Stuff happens and you just grow apart. But what I learned was it's really important to continue to build relationships all the time. Build new friendships, build new connections. Strengthen the ones that you've got as well. And sometimes it's going to mean that some just come and go. Just like the clients that we have. Like I have clients that come into my fitness family that will probably be there forever. But it doesn't mean that they're there forever. They might go away for a while, but then they come back. Or they always know that I'm there. I always know that they're there. They're just a phone call away from me. I'm just a phone call away from them. It's really powerful. But we've got to keep working on them. And that is something that I also have learned from Mum. Number 7 is about professionalism. Being professional is something that I really pride myself on. I work in an industry that is not that professional. There are some exceptions out there, but generally speaking, it's a pretty ordinary profession. People are rough, people don't have necessarily high education, they don't necessarily present themselves well, they don't have a polished business, they run a cash business, they run hobby businesses, they don't understand how to present themselves in a professional way because they've never learnt it themselves. Because of the way that I came into the health and fitness industry through accounting, I went through a long process of working in professional corporations and having to speak to boards of directors and do presentations and wear a suit and tie to work every single day and just present myself physically as something that's very presentable and going out to clients and doing all those sorts of stuff, all those sorts of things. But a lot of people have never done that. A lot of people have never put on a tie. Does that make a difference if you haven't ever put on a tie? But no, it's the point is the way that you conduct yourself. And I was reading something this morning from somebody who works in the same industry as me but does it a little differently. And just the language that they use, I just think, wow, that's really going to attract a certain type of person. Lots of swearing, unnecessary in posts, and if it's a recorded one, it's aggressive. It's certainly not the way that I approach things. Now, what does that do? Well, that turns off a whole bunch of people, but it's their passion, it's their love, they do it their way, and that's okay. It doesn't make their way right and mine wrong. It's just that what I've learned from Mum is about being professional and always putting your professional foot forward. And that means, for me presenting the way that I do and not swearing. I mean, Mum was always a person that I never ever heard her swear. And that's why I don't swear either. I might swear to myself, I might swear out loud if I'm by myself, but I don't swear in conversation. It's just not something that I believe is necessary for me to get my point across. Number 8, laughter. Laughing is so important, isn't it? I mean, we get so serious in life. I mean, still going through this global pandemic. If we can't laugh, especially at ourselves, then there's something wrong. So you need to be able to develop that gift to be able to bring laughter into your life. Laugh at yourself. Don't take things too seriously. Serious when they matter, but also make sure you create that space to laugh and have fun, because life is short and we want to enjoy it, and we want to enjoy it on our terms, but we will also want to bring laughter into our life. Go watch a funny movie, find something that makes you laugh, because it's so important. It just opens up a different part of you. It releases serotonin into the brain. It's just so necessary. And I learned that with Mum. She had the ability to laugh at herself. We had the ability to laugh together, and just really, really important. And number 9, the last one, is about respect. I learned from when I was a child that respect is so important. And the first one was to respect your parents. Certainly no swearing at your parents, being respectful of what they've done for you, the fact that they've brought you into the world, they're providing a roof over your head, that they're teaching you things, that they're being kind to you, doing all the things that a parent should be doing when they're raising a child. And whether they did it the right way or whatever, who really knows, but they did it the only way that they knew how. And also to respect your elders, not just your parents, but then your grandparents. And it didn't matter whether they were related to you or not. It was about respecting people that were older than you, and also respecting the people around you, and not just being mean to people, being kind to people. And even though Mum had some strong beliefs on certain things, she was respectful of people's beliefs, and was certainly always respectful of others. And even though there are some times where you don't want to be because of whatever reason, maybe somebody's cut you off in the car and you want to, really go at them, or somebody bumps into you, or does something and you think, I really want to unleash here. It's about being respectful, it's about being polite, and just accepting the fact that there are other things going on in people's lives that you don't know about. Things that are going on behind closed doors that may be really, really tough. If somebody has done something to you where you feel wronged for whatever reason, and whatever that looks like in your world, just keep in mind that maybe they've just had somebody in their life pass away. Maybe they're going through a whole bunch of things. Maybe they've just lost a child. Maybe they have just found out that they have cancer and they have only a few days to live. Maybe you just don't know, okay? And even though I'm using extreme examples there, I think you need to accept the fact that sometimes you get frustrated, sometimes you get angry, sometimes you get disappointed. That happens to me as well. It's what you do with those emotions that really matter. And sometimes we want to take it out on others. And I think if you come from a perspective of respect, then a lot of what you do with that emotion really changes for you. So, Mum, thank you. Thank you for giving me all these beautiful gifts. And I'm sorry that you're not here today to be able to share Mother's Day with me and with your grandkids, but I know you're watching over us, and I know you're having fun. I know you're having a laugh with Dad, and I just wanted to share my experience with my mum on this special day with all of you out there. So if you would like to connect with me, you certainly can. You can go to the mentaltoughnessandbodyshow.com, opt in for a free consultation there, and let's make 2021 your best year yet. Stay happy, stay safe. See you tomorrow.